Washington Commanders receiver Terry McLaurin was in the community on Thursday, launching a new program, but also sitting down with us to talk a little bit about football. That and more coming up on this episode of Locked On Commanders.
You are Locked On Commanders, your daily podcast on the Washington Commanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome inside today's episode of Locked On Commanders. I am your host, David Harrison, here with you every Monday through Friday, your friend, your eyes, your ears, covering the Washington Commanders on ground for WUSA9.com, also for Sports Illustrated's CommanderGameDay.com. I want to thank you for being here today for today's episode, which we're going to hear from wide receiver Terry McLaurin. Did a ceremony on launching and unveiling his most recent community effort, a jobs program for homeless and at-risk youths. And we're also going to hear about him, of course, talk a little bit about what's going on with the Washington Commanders, the football team, everydayers. Those of you who come through every single day, a special thank you to you for coming through every single day. For everybody out there, if you're not already subscribed for free on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this podcast, please take a moment to subscribe or to follow or whatever it is on the platform that you're currently on. If you're on YouTube, please click the thumbs up button on this video. It'll help other Commanders fans like yourself find this episode. If you're new to the show, I want to thank you for finding us. Hopefully you like what you hear or you see, and you come back again, because Locked On Commanders is a daily podcast covering the Washington Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create your account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. So, like we always say, on ground, your eyes, your ears, and we were one of the media outlets out there for Terry McLaurin's new unveiling of his newest jobs program. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show, but of course, this is a football podcast first, so we are going to talk about the football side of things with Terry, and you're going to see kind of a clip. I kind of put together all the pertinent questions and answers from Terry in this media scrum following the unveiling of his new jobs program, and some notes that I want you to kind of really hone in on with Terry answering some of these questions. You're going to hear, Liam Griffin from Washington Times, Ben Standig from The Athletic, and some other folks who are out there as well. But he's asked about the new additions to the team, right? And just kind of talks about what we talked about in the NFL draft. And we talk about this when we talk about like grades and reactions to draft classes. We don't always necessarily, agree with every pick, or, that guy wasn't necessarily going to be the guy that I would have selected. Like you all know, especially everydayers, Donovan Ezeraku out of Boston College was my favorite edge, my favorite pass rusher. I felt like that was a really big need for the Commanders. So when he was sitting there at 29, I was like, hey, let's go. Let's make this thing happen. Obviously, they go Josh Conerly Jr. So the reaction is you like Josh Conerly Jr., you see the athleticism, and you trust in what the organization is doing, because they brought in the right people last year to take a 4-win team to 12 wins in the regular season and then to the NFC Championship game in the postseason. So now you're going to have to trust them again to bring in the right people. Again, Terry talks about having that trust in them. Even only 1 year, they brought in a lot of people in that 1 year, and a lot of those people turned out to be the right kind of people. He does talk about Deebo Samuel, right? One of the new additions. He's asked about Josh Conerly, admits like he doesn't really know Josh Conerly right now. Josh is about to get his NFL career started here in about 12 hours time. We won't be out there. A little bit of a programming note. Media was supposed to be at rookie minicamp on Friday, but because of weather, that's been scrapped. We're actually going to be out there Saturday. You're still going to get an episode tomorrow, but that just means you're guaranteed a Saturday episode as well, because we're going to do an episode after rookie minicamp. So bonus episode on the way. But he did talk about Deebo Samuel, and he talks about him bringing a history of success, right? Having been an all-pro, Pro Bowler, been to a Super Bowl, all those things, but also bringing an edge to the offense. And then talking about the types of players. This is something that Jayden Daniels, Bobby Wagner, Terry McLaurin all talked at the end of last year about, understanding now that the culture is set. It only took 1 year, which is kind of amazing, but the culture of what it means to be a Washington Commanders player is set. So now these new guys, it's on the guys who have been here to bring these new guys in, acclimate them to the culture, and show them how to be themselves within that culture, but also to how to help further contribute to what the Washington Commanders have built. And then finally, we've talked about this here on the episode. I've talked to Terry about this multiple times over the years, about the wide receiver position being a somewhat dependent position, right? Best wide receiver in the NFL, if you don't have an offensive line that can give the quarterback time to go through their reads, set to make the throw, do all the things they need to do, if you don't have a scheme that helps accentuate your talents, and if you don't have a quarterback that can deliver the football to you, the best wide receiver in the NFL is going to be pretty much worthless, right? So unfortunately, you can be incredibly talented like Terry McLaurin is, and you can have struggles. So when a player of Terry McLaurin's caliber has success, even in deficient schemes, even with deficient offensive lines, even with deficient or massively rotating quarterback situations, it just becomes a little bit more impressive. Now that he's got an established quarterback, and we're talking about a scheme that, look, there was a little bit of a bog down there in the middle of the season, right? But once they broke the rust from that, you have a lot of confidence coming in into what's going on. And you're going to hear Terry talk about Jayden coming in, growing as a leader, coming in, growing as a player, how impressive that was, but also the fact that Jayden is not hanging his hat on what he did as a rookie and saying, look, guys, I'm good. I've already done this. No, he's pushing himself to go even further. So those are some of the key points that I want you to listen to when we hear from Terry right now. So let's hear from wide receiver Terry McLaurin.
Some of the new additions to the team, such as Deebo Samuel and Josh Carley, you said some of the other rookies.
Yeah. I mean, I think Adam Peters and our entire front office do a great job of bringing in the right people. Obviously, the rookies that we had last year were great, from Jayden to Mikey to Johnny. I could go down the list. And first of all, they're all great people. They're competitors. They come from great programs where they were leaders on those teams. And so you start to get an idea of the kind of player that we like to have in the Commanders. And then you bring them into a community and a culture that DQ has helped us build, and we built as leaders, and you help them, get along in their journey. And so when you bring a guy in like Deebo, who's had success individually and he's been to 2 Super Bowls, he brings a type of edge to our offense and to our team, an energy that you can see he plays with. I think it's going to be infectious when you see him touch the ball on Sundays. And I don't know enough about Josh yet, but I know he's probably a great guy, and he's going to be a part of a really good O-line group that are very passionate. They're really serious about protecting Jayden, making sure we have a strong run game, and giving us time to throw the ball too. So I think he's going to fit in great. All the guys that are coming in, they're going to be supported in any way that we can, and I assume that a lot of them will really have a chance to help us this year.
Do you like we'll see about the individuals, but the type of pieces they added? Obviously, Deebo's a different receiver than you, a versatile guy.
Yeah.
The 4-3 speed with Lane.
Right.
The 2 tackles. Mm-hmm. Like okay, we identified what we thought we needed to work on from last season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as far as what we needed, that's out of my pay grade. But I trust. Like I said, I think AP and our team, do a great job of bringing in the right people and feeling where we can get better. Each year, you have to come in to see where we fell short last year and the areas that we could get better. Bringing guys in from all across the country who can bring certain skill sets that we may be missing, but also can enhance our team is something that I'm looking forward to being around. And I think we have a chance to really build something from the ground up again. But the great thing about it is there's a culture that's been set where there's an expectation coming into what it's like to be on the Commanders football team, what it's like to be a great teammate, and when it's your time, you're out there being able to make a play to help us. So I think it's great to have guys that have been through all different walks of life. Some guys have, college-wise, they transferred, they either won national championship, they lost. You got Deebo, who's been an all-pro, he's been to Super Bowl. So the great thing is you bring guys who are talented and gifted, but then you bring them into a culture that is very, has a lot of synergy. And then, I think the great thing about it is you can be yourself within us. And I think that's the cool thing that DQ allows us to be on our team.
Terry, you talked in the past about the receiver position being somewhat dependent, right?
Yeah.
How does it feel for you to have such confidence in your quarterback coming into 2025?
Yeah, I mean, the way I saw Jayden grow leaps and bounds last year, honestly, we all knew the type of competitor he was when he first got there. He's an extremely smart player, and he's very charismatic. Guys in the locker room love being around him. But you got to see his competitive edge out there on Sundays, and the way he just, again, was able to get better week in and week out and put his best foot forward. There was a lot of Sundays where he was our best player out there, you know what I mean? And the way he's able to extend plays with his legs, his arm, and he can make all the throws. And again, I think it's just his competitive nature where you feel like you got a chance to make big plays when the ball is in his hands. So I'm just looking forward to growing with him. I feel like him and I will continue to work to get better with our relationship, but not only just me and myself, but the entire skill group is looking forward to taking another step in our development as a team. And so he's even grown as a leader as well, which is cool to see. This time last year he was coming into rookie minicamp. Now he's in there, telling guys what to do and directing our walkthroughs and things like that. So that's just cool to see as a young player. But you can tell he's comfortable, but he's still hungry. I think that's a great thing. Like, he could have just hung his hat on what he did last year, but you can tell he still has a hunger for more.
All right, that was Washington Commanders receiver Terry McLaurin talking a little bit of ball. We'll hear again from Terry at the end of this episode, but first we have to discuss Carolina Panthers releasing defensive end outside linebacker Jadeveon Clowney, why the Washington Commanders should absolutely be interested, but why it may not happen as quickly as some might like. That coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Commanders brought to you in part by Game Time. There's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game. Every bucket, every defensive stop, every moment feels huge. It's electric in the arena, and with Game Time, you can be a part of it without the stress of last-minute ticket hunting, because the entire experience is supposed to be enjoyable. So you want the game ticket purchasing process to be part of the joy, or at least don't take away from the experience, right? Game Time makes it fast and easy to get your playoff tickets, even when the demand is sky high. In fact, the prices on the app actually go down the closer that it gets to tip-off, and their last-minute deals can save you up to 60%. 60% off buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, even more. And all-in pricing, toggle that on the app, and you get no surprises at checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create your account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create your account, redeem the code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Lowest price, last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Continue now today's episode of Locked On Commanders. We heard from Commanders receiver Terry McLaurin in the first segment. You're going to hear from Terry McLaurin again in the second, or the final segment, but here in the middle segment, we are going to talk about a potential new option for the edge position for the Washington Commanders. Jadeveon Clowney released by the Carolina Panthers. Not really a total surprise, to be quite honest with you. I'm sure that the Panthers were working the phones, trying to find a trade partner, something like that. But basically everybody in the NFL says, you're just going to release this guy. So if we really want him, we'll just go out there and we'll pay for him, right? So who is Jadeveon Clowney today? 32 years old, turns 33 in February. Actually, first, before we do this, actually some mixed responses from insiders. Some insiders said they need to go get this dude right now. Some insiders said he's more of a name than he is a pass rusher, right? So a little bit of a mixed bag of reactions, and I feel like generally speaking, that's probably going to be the reaction across the NFL. Some are going to be really excited, say, go get him right now. Not now, but right now. And some are going to say, is he really that talented? Anyway, 32 years old right now, turns 33 in February. So you're basically going to get him in his 32-year-old season. First round pick of the Houston Texans in 2014, was the number one pick overall in 2014, played in Houston from 2014 to 2018, making 3 Pro Bowls in that stretch. Was traded to the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for a couple players, including current Commanders D-end outside linebacker Jacob Martin. Jacob Martin, again, part of the trade from the Seahawks going to the Houston Texans for the Seahawks to get Jadeveon Clowney. So a little bit of connection there. And a third-round pick also in the 2020 NFL draft, going over to the Houston Texans in 2019. Played that one season with the Seahawks. Then he spent one season with the Tennessee Titans before ending up with the Cleveland Browns for 2 years. After that, he spent 2023 with the Baltimore Ravens, signed a 2-year deal with the Carolina Panthers in the 2024 NFL offseason, but again, was released on Thursday, so he played 1 year of that 2-year deal. That's kind of a snapshot of Jadeveon Clowney's current career as it is right now. Now, notice I didn't say Pro Bowl. I didn't say All-Pro at any point past his 2018 season with the Houston Texans. However, he has had 9 or more sacks in 2 of his last, I think, 4 years of his career. So it's kind of been in a little bit of an up and down. And I think if you're looking at the total stats, right, no double-digit sacks in any season for Jadeveon Clowney. So a little bit more of a name than a talent at that point. If you're thinking Jadeveon Clowney is like this top league sack getter, he really hasn't been the top guy. He's been good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, look, 9 sacks is nothing to shake a stick at, right? Clowney did have that 9.5 sacks most recently for the Ravens in 2023, but he had 11 combined in his 2 seasons playing opposite of Myles Garrett and 11 combined in the 3 years before that. So it's kind of a feast or famine type of situation with Jadeveon Clowney. So if you're the Washington Commanders, you kind of have to look at this and say, do we really believe he's a scheme fit? Do we really believe he's the kind of guy that can execute the things that we need to execute from a schematic standpoint? And then what, of course, is the price going to be? Because right now the price point on Spot says his market value is $11 million. And to me, that's a little rich for a guy who's not going to be an every down guy. And you might get 9 sacks, you might get 3 sacks, right? Like, to me, it's a little bit rich for my blood. Again, I'm not making the decision. So if Adam Peters says it's not too rich for his blood, Jadeveon Clowney, come on down, right? Personally, I'd much rather bring in Zadarius Smith. I think Zadarius Smith still has more juice left in the tank. He is about a year and a half older, but when you watch the 2 guys on tape, I think that he's got just a little bit more left in him. I think that Jadeveon Clowney probably has more juice in him than, say, Von Miller does. But Zadarius, 9 sacks just this last season between 2 different schemes. And while, some of it is obviously talent-based, right? But it's a little bit difficult to come into a new defense midstream. We saw Marshawn Lattimore try to do it. Now, granted, Marshawn was dealing with an injury as well, but Zadarius Smith switches defenses midseason, and he's still able to at least put together a season where he produces close to 10 sacks. That's pretty impressive for, 1, his age, but 2, swapping teams in midseason. So for me, I'd still put Zadarius Smith at the top of that list. I would now put Jadeveon Clowney second on my list of current available free agents. There have been some who said, well, are the Washington Commanders now a team where people look at them and say, I can win a championship with you. And because I can win a championship with you, I'll take less guaranteed money, maybe a little bit more in incentives and things like that, and come and play for a potential championship team. I mean, look, it does not take long for teams for players to start looking at a team as a winning team. And when you're a little bit long in the tooth, you're lasting obviously into the final phase of free agency where we're post-draft, we're right about around the corner from training camp, and you still don't have a team. This is the time where players kind of start, making some concessions in what they're wanting from their future. Either they're not going to play at all because they're not getting the money they want, or they say, okay, if I'm going to take less money, I'm going to take less money on a team that's going to contend. You bring in Zadarius Smith and Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, if you can get Zadarius Smith and Jadeveon Clowney for a total of, say, 12 mil total between the 2, you get 600-700 snaps out of both those guys. Okay, I'll do that. You know what I mean? And I've seen that happen with other teams. For example, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now they brought Tom Brady in, and that really helped spark a lot of that flexibility. So again, I can't tell you how Zadarius Smith and how Jadeveon Clowney are looking at the Commanders and whether they'd be willing to do that, but certainly an intriguing option or an idea. But it brings up the question too. I was having this talk with another media member while we were at the Terry McLaurin event. Does Washington bring in another edge before they see what they really have, right? Like, there's been conversations about, look, we've got guys, Logan Paulson has kind of talked about, they've got guys and, they're going to figure this thing out, but are they willing to bring in another edge player before they get these guys on the practice field, fully get to do full drills? Like right now they can do workouts, right? They're not doing 7-on-7 even, which you're not going to see pass rush anyway, but before they can do 11-on-11s, do they go out there and add another player like Jadeveon Clowney or Zadarius Smith? Certainly could, but there is a school of thought to follow to say, and it would make sense to say, we like who we have. Let's see what they have before we go out there and pull any other moves and bring any other guys in. Because if you sign Jadeveon Clowney, you sign Zadarius Smith, again, competition is always going to be preached, but you don't sign those guys expecting them to sit on the bench all year, right? You might sign them to be a rotational player, but you're not signing them to just be a bench player. So interesting prospect, certainly. I wouldn't hate it. I'm not going to pound the table for it, but it's an interesting thing that came up, obviously, and a lot of people are wanting to hear about it. UDFAs on top of the Washington Commanders draft picks. Now, draft picks don't have to sign their contracts, right? The players that were actually drafted in the 7 rounds don't have to sign their contracts before participating in rookie minicamp. So don't be too worried that they haven't, or that, the ones who haven't. But UDFAs signed some contracts. Linebacker Cam Arnold, D tackle Ricky Barber, wide receiver Ja'Cory Brooks, cornerback Fentrell Cypress, wide receiver Jacoby Jones, linebacker Ale Cahoe, safety Rob McDaniel, guard Timothy McKay, safety Trey Rucker, cornerback Carlin Vickers, all signing UDFA contracts with the Washington Commanders. So everybody else you hear about at rookie minicamp, they're tryout players, rookie minicamp invites, I should say. Not tryouts, they're invite players, not undrafted free agents. Just a little bit of a delineation there. We will be getting the full rookie minicamp participation roster on Friday, and we will do our episode previewing our day out there at rookie minicamp on Saturday on Friday as well. So be on the lookout for that. But coming up next, we're going to hear again from Terry McLaurin, this time talking about his brand new program launched in Leesburg, Virginia on Thursday. That's next on today's episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And we're doing that today thanks to our friends over at Upwork. And with Upwork, you can scale your business the right way. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. And with Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts that are ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives you business flexibility by connecting you with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. So visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork, UPWORK.com, Upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. Wrapping up today's episode of Locked On Commanders, we're going to hear again from Terry McLaurin. Again, on Thursday, we were in Leesburg, Virginia to be on hand when Terry McLaurin launched his brand new charitable initiative with a focus on getting homeless and at-risk youths and young adults, 18 to 24, into the workforce. Terry McLaurin's Full Circle Jobs program, as it's called, is what launched on Thursday in conjunction with Mobile Hope is the organization. It helps, again, homeless and at-risk youth and young adults find work and also find purpose. Terry McLaurin's foundation continuing to expand Terry's Locker in multiple schools in the D.C. area. I've been on hand for multiple Terry McLaurin Foundation events at the Northwest Stadium in Maryland. Now this being established in Virginia. Here is Terry McLaurin, first introduced by Ms. Fortier, the founder of Mobile Hope. I wanted to leave her introduction in there. I thought it was really good. And then you're going to hear from Terry in his unveiling or ceremony speech, and then a little bit of a scrum as well with reporters on the side. So this one's a little bit longer of a clip, but it's a lot of good stuff. Terry McLaurin back out here in the community doing a lot of good things in the DMV. So hopefully you enjoy that.
Person today is not only Terry, but it's our kids. And I think the most important thing for us all to walk away with is what a great guy Terry is to help us raise awareness on a homeless youth issue and helping our kids get steady employment, get into careers that they really aspire to do, and having voices like Terry's behind us and what it is that we do every day, we could not pay for. So we truly appreciate it. I'm out of breath because I was just hugging a bunch of kids in the back. So today is very special, not only to Mobile Hope, but it's very, very special to our kids. And many of them are here, some are not, which is good because they're working. So that's very good. So we can't get mad at them for not being here. But I want to say thank you to everybody who helps raise awareness on homeless youth, because it truly is an issue that exists right here. We welcome you all to come here, get involved anytime you want to. We do a lot for the community with the help of our kids. And so we have a great community here at Mobile Hope. And we help to do anything in our power to help these kids move forward.
Terry, come on up. Thank you so much for your partnership and for doing this.
Amazing. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? Good? All right. First off, I want to thank God. He has really changed my life and allowed me to be in this place with you guys today. I'm living my dream, obviously playing in the NFL, but since a young kid, I've always had a passion of giving back and making an impact in my community, friends, family. So without him, that wouldn't be possible, and the passion that he has put in my heart to give back. I want to thank Donna and her entire team here at Mobile Hope. I want to thank Chris Nason, their law group that have partnered with me and made this all possible. I genuinely couldn't have made this happen without them. My team with Chris McAvee and Ryan, we've thrown a lot of ideas between one another. And I really wanted to provide a program that provided kids the opportunity, no matter where they come from, where their background is, what they've been through, an opportunity to be able to have the resources possible to step into the workforce and take their next steps in life. As Chris mentioned, life is about perseverance, and it's about getting back up through adversity. And although a lot of you who I've not met today, the kids part of our program, just know no matter what you've been through, that's not the end of your story. And a lot of times that's just the beginning. And it's a testimony and opportunity for you to take forward what you've learned through what you've been through, but also it'll propel you to what's next in your life.
Why was this an important cause to get behind and support?
Honestly, just being able to launch my foundation a few years ago, and as we kind of started learning the needs of the community and just some of the passions, ideas that I've had and my team have had, we felt like this was another area that we can really help the young people in the DMV community. And obviously I started Terry's Locker, and now with the Full Circle Job Readiness Program, there's two solid initiatives where we feel like we can really come alongside the young people in this community and give a consistent program that they can count on, that are going to give them the resources to be successful. And so my Job Readiness Program, I just wanted to be able to provide a space where kids can come in and get haircuts and get the proper clothing so they can be ready and feeling confident about job interviews and job opportunities. And not only that, having mentors and life skill workshops that allow them to unearth what's already been placed inside them the day they were born, the greatness that's inside of them that they necessarily may not even know it's in there yet. And so through this program, it allows them to learn more about themselves, learn what it's like to be in the workforce, and we even have a few jobs here that are here just to continue to educate them and allow them to talk and see what they're interested in the job force. So I know that was a lot, but it's just a really great program that my partners Mobile Hope and the Nation Law Group have really helped me bring to life. So I'm super excited to get this kicked off and see the impact that it has on this community.
To see some like personal impact. It looked like Josue, I think,
yes,
went up
sir.
there. Is a pretty good embrace when you like. How cool is
Yeah.
that to actually see the difference you're making and build a connection with someone like that?
Honestly, that's the best part of it is for me. Like, you can put together programs and donate and things like that, but I think it's honestly the time and the wisdom and the stories that you get to hear, the people like Josue you get to meet. We kind of did like a little mini activation last year where I met Josue, and just to get to hear about his story and all the adversity that he's been through. And just the number one thing every time I interact with Josue is his energy and his disposition is unbelievable for some of the things he's been through in life, which I couldn't even imagine going through. And so to see the positivity that he still has out on the outlook on life and the zest for life that he has and wanting to just continue to better his life. And then not only that, come back to Mobile Hope and pay it forward. I think that's the next step for all of us, to be able to take what we've learned, the wisdom, the understanding that we've learned in our lives, and pay it forward to the next person. So it's unbelievable to see Josue and hear how he's doing and his family. And he's a testament to our vision for this program and helping these young people step into the real world.
Terry, when did you decide you were going to do these different, like you have the one event or the one initiative with the laundry and so,
Right.
and then this, when did you decide you wanted to be like this sort of well-rounded as opposed to just pick one?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I was our Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee a few years ago, I got to go out to, I believe it was Vegas, when the Super Bowl was out there, and meet the other nominees and see what they're doing in the community and kind of pick their brains and see how they started. And you know, my foundation started small and just with certain outreaches during the holidays, but I really wanted to provide initiatives that are long-lasting, that have an impact, not just on that one moment, not that one holiday season, but on years and years to come. And then you have people like Josue are able to come back and give their testimony to inspire the next group behind them. So I was able to learn from great guys there. You know, Teron Armstead, he's a great guy in the community. My former Buckeye, Cameron Hayward, he's a guy I really look up to, not just on the field, but off the field, and all the things that he's done in his community. And it really, guys like that really inspired me to create not only just those opportunities to help around one opportunities like holiday season, but create initiatives that can really be long-lasting and effective.
And Terry, kind of building off of that, you also, we're in Leesburg now. You've done stuff in D.C., obviously.
Yeah.
You've done stuff at the stadium in Maryland. Why is it also important for you to have it widespread geographically?
That's also a great point that you said. I think it's been huge, not just to, there's so many communities that need assistance, and it's hard to obviously reach them all, but being in the DMV, I just don't see Virginia, I just don't see Maryland, I just don't see DC. I see them all as one body. They all support me as a player and a person. They all support myself, my team and my teammates. And I think it's important to reach as much as we can in the DMV community. So I look forward to continue to see that happening. And it's just been great to meet so many different people in different walks of life. And they're just looking for someone to help them out where they can. And I just try to provide that.
And I know this isn't something that came just from your time in the NFL. Can you talk about the impact your family has had, your upbringing, and why you do this?
Honestly, my parents are here today, and they instilled in me the importance of giving back. And through my faith in Jesus Christ, like I really believe a big reason I'm on this earth is to give back and serve others. I think that's a big part of who I am. It's always been somewhat who I am, and now I have a platform to be able to provide those kind of opportunities, meeting great people, sharing in their stories. And like I said, it's not just all about giving money and things like that. I really want to give my time, get to know people in the community, and sharing their successes and help them when they're feeling down. So I'm really excited to continue to grow my foundation and seeing all the impact it can have.
The team's getting more attention with the success of last season, with the draft coming, and with a possible new stadium in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Why is it so important for you and other players to use your platform as that media attention kind of ramps up?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you have a platform, it's only as good as the positivity you use it as. And I think as NFL football players, we have the fortunate blessing to be able to, people pay attention to us. You know what I mean? They follow us on social media. They want to know what we're doing. And so why not use that attention to provide good opportunities for your community and for the people around you? And as we continue to go, I even encourage the young guys, find something you're passionate about. The rookies that we have coming in that I haven't got to meet yet, the same thing I'm going to tell them. You know what I mean? Football is just going to be a microcosm of your life. And it can propel the rest of your life, but use that platform that football provides to really make an impact in the people around you, family, friends, and in your community, whatever you're passionate about. And the great thing about being at the Commanders, we have a group of community leaders that you could go into their office and say, hey, I'm passionate about pets, I'm passionate about the environment, and they can steer you in the right direction so you can get involved. And I think that's the best thing you could do is getting involved and using your platform for good.
All right. Once again, that was Terry McLaurin one more time. Again, a longer segmented video, but a very important cause that Terry's very passionate about. The Terry McLaurin Full Circle Jobs Program launched Thursday, part of the Mobile Hope Initiative there in Leesburg. If you or somebody you know needs some help from an organization like Mobile Hope, or if you want to participate in the foundation, mobile-hope.org is the website to go to do any of those things. So good stuff from Terry McLaurin. Always tell Commanders fans when I meet them and they tell me that Terry is one of their favorite players or their favorite player, that I can assure you that Terry McLaurin is a player worth being a fan of. He's not a guy that's going to let you down in the news or any offseason headlines or anything like that. So next episode of Locked On Commanders, we will do our rookie mini camp preview. We'll continue insiders. You will be getting more film study files tomorrow. So make sure you keep an eye out on those. If you want to get in on those, because we can't violate NFL licensing laws here on the show by broadcasting them. So I share them in private videos that are not broadcast, and I don't make money off of them for those insiders. So if you want to be an insider, get in on those film studies and so many other things. Join subtext.com/LockedOnCommanders. For your next listen, check out the Locked On NFL Scouting podcast with the NFL Draft Dudes right here on YouTube or wherever you are listening to this podcast. As always, thank you for making Locked On Commanders your first listen of the day, every day, everydayers. Thanks for coming through every single day. Until we speak again, if you're out and about, please be safe, be kind, and I'll see you right back here next time for another episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.